I'm on a mission to help the world to see success differently. Through sharing the stories of our guests, I hope to inspire those that listen. This is the Different Hats podcast, produced by H2 Productions. I hope you can join us on this journey.
The more you get told you shouldn't or can't or won't or mustn't, it's your job to figure out why are they saying that. Might be some truth in it, but you still want to find out yourself. Obviously, you're not going to put fingers in a socket when they say don't. But the idea that I was too tall to skate, or you're too impetuous, you're not listening, and you're not. More importantly, you're not doing what everybody else is doing. The reason the skating was exciting to me, I was doing dancing classes, and of course the curriculum then was so strict. Everybody does exactly the same thing. You look the same, you do the same. And I was like, what? I've already done that bit. I want to move on and do my own thing. In skating, you learn exactly what everybody else does, but in your own way. I would teach you the way I was taught by the person who was taught them, who taught them. I'm not looking at a textbook and saying, it says here you have to do it so-and-so. Obviously, in our industry, when you get to a certain level in any sport, there are certain things that have to be exact and have to be precise. But how you do it is really down to the personal feeling and the opinion of that person. So it was very much of, I always say, make as many mistakes as you can. Just try not to make the same mistake a second time. Because you don't learn if you don't make them. Yeah. You can't go through life, that might not happen, that might not work. So, yeah. I don't know where it came from,
but you
whether
developed
it was encouraged,
that belief, like that ability to go, it's okay to make mistakes and do that.
That was Dad,
age?
I think. Really? A lot of it came from Dad with all of us. It was, my brothers didn't play well, I didn't skate well. Well, that's fine. That's all right. And my mother would say, I don't care, as long as you come off the ice in one piece, which is the way you went on. What happens in between is immaterial to me. Yeah. But then we would, the analysis of that, or of a rugby game, or cricket, I got bowled out, I didn't do that. So, okay, but it's the whys. So then what can you do next time to try and avoid that? Or when he's bowling, you're going to have to do so-and-so. You've got to shift this. You've got to do, you know how to work with the obstacles. You can't figure out, see all these many, many years later, people say to you, but did you always know? I said, well, I suppose I did, because there's no such thing as I've done it, so now give me everything. What it means is that some people might open the door for you. It'd be lovely. Or you think, actually, I'll go and find the bloody key. I don't care. I'll find the key and I'll knock it down, or I'll hit it down because I think what's on the other side is worth it. Nothing comes for nothing. There has to be consequences, and there have to be reasons, and you figure them out.
Yeah. I guess and being curiosity is something like a value I guess that I've got. One of the reasons I do the podcast, because I'm just curious. I find it fascinating having those conversations. I try and teach the kids. My twins are 8 now, and to be curious, and what's, like you mentioned, what's on the other side of the door, right?
Yeah.
And I guess for you, I guess at that young age, being curious, like going out and trying that, and
falling 100 times, but then landing once and going, okay, now I get it, and that once informs how you fall 20 times the next time rather than 40 times. And as much as you get things wrong, when it goes right, take that little nugget and figure out, how can I apply what I did right there to these other things that are constantly going wrong. Even with young coaches now, with the mentoring I do, it's like, don't assume they know what they're doing when it's going well. Get them to tell you what they're doing. Because what they think they're doing and what they are doing might be two different things. Don't only try and fix things that are wrong. Make sure they're aware of what they're doing when it's right. Because that's also a form of encouragement. Because, as I say, you figured something out on one jump, and there's 5 other jumps. You can figure it out on one. Pretty much everything. Find that common denominator between the other 5, and you'll have 6. They might not all be this perfect. They might not all work. But again, try and encourage them to use their own abilities. A lot of people come up to me and they say, oh, my kid is really, really talented. They really should be doing so and so. And so, yeah, but it's useless if they don't want to use the talent. Give me a kid who has that hunger for knowledge, who wants to learn the craft, they'll figure it out, the rest. It's not about a talent. Talent is great, but talent does things because they can, not because they know how. And generally, and I know this because I'm one of them, they don't want to know how because I don't need to. But in the skating world, and kids come up to me and say, oh, I've lost my jump, I've lost my axle, I've lost my doubles. I said, where did it go? Shopping? You haven't lost it. Your body knows how to do it, but your brain doesn't. And of course, when your body doesn't quite feel like it that day, you can't figure it out in your brain because you've actually not learned the mechanics of it, or you haven't taken it in to be able to do it yourself. So your parents end up paying this coach the same thing to tell you the same thing they told you last week and the week before and the week before. It's like at some point you have to start taking ownership and responsibility, and that's something that you learn very quickly. Yeah. For me, it was how can I not fall as much? How can I still go really fast and get it right? And it was, again, that's when it comes back to something that I said to you when we were talking at an event. I said, and I tell people this all the time, it's not about who you are. I never won anything because of what I did. It was how I did it. And I just made sure that I did it. Why would I want to be like everybody else?
Oh, there's so many things for me to take away from that. I love the conversation around talent and actually perseverance and determination and self-belief and all
we'll
those
always
things
win out. We'll always win out.
Because that's such an important thing. Like not just in skating, in life in general, in everything that we do in life. We've got so many, I guess, a lot of our listeners run their own businesses, entrepreneurs, and go out there. But there's so much in that for me that you're saying about whatever talent people have, whatever skill set you've got. Nothing can beat determination, hard work. And,
see, I'm watching how animated you are and how passionate you are about what you're doing as you're talking to me.
Yeah.
The same way as I am about my job. It isn't about what you get from it. It's the thing itself that is the joy. And I suppose my one major big complaint, huge, is that you try to explain to kids these days that people actually just do things because they love it, not because they're going to make money out of it or get something out of it, or it's going to give them this, or there's a return. And they look at you like you're speaking in a foreign language from another planet. Why on earth would you want to do that? Is the look, and they kind of go, what do you mean? Who do you want to be, or what do you want to be when you grow up? And of course they'll reel off these names and you go, but how do you think they got where they are now? It doesn't matter whether it's Tiger Woods, David Beckham, me, Torvill Dean, whoever. We didn't start out because we wanted to go to the Olympics. We found something that gave us a thrill. And that thrill, as long as that thrill is there, you can succeed. And that has nothing to do with money.
You know what?
And kids don't want to know that because they just think, I can get on telly. I can have my 50. Go ahead, have 15 minutes. But give me the person who's interested in doing the work to get 15 years.
It's almost like music to my ears. Like when the tagline of the podcast is helping the world to see success differently, right? Because for me, society still very much so that people's success is measured by potentially financial status,
sure,
or achievements, or whatever that may look like. Whereas actually, it's one thing I want to try and teach Mark is the fact that as long as you love what you do, as long as there's that passion, there's that love for what you do, there's the money and other bits will come, and if that's what it is, but do something that fills you up and.
Yeah, and if you're lucky, you can find that.
Yeah.
A lot of people are friends now with their sort of teenage kids saying, they're trying to decide what they want to do with their career, and there's so many options. I said, well, first thing, I always tell this to kids, instead of thinking what you want to do, start listing the things you don't want to do, things that you have no interest in. All of a sudden, you'll find that some of those things from that column actually appear in the possibles. And things you might want. Instead of saying there's 100 things that I might be able to do, you could probably eliminate at least 30 instantly. That I have no interest in that, no interest in. And all of a sudden you narrow things down and then write down the things that make you tick and see where they match and go, oh, okay. And again, it's a learning process. Life is a learning process. You know, as I say, make the mistakes. Try something. You only know if you don't like it. If you haven't, how can you say I don't like it? You haven't tried it. I mean, certainly with foods for me, I know exactly what I won't eat. I don't need to try it. But I think, you know, just allow yourself to make the mistakes and be wrong.